Hi there, this video is sponsored by Shipping6, a like-minded crew of PLC software engineers who are bringing modern practices to automation. More on that later. In my last video about the Arduino Opta, we noticed that there is this AUX-port on the Opta PLC. I got a lot of comments in the video asking me whether this AUX-port could possibly be an extension for future modules. Today we got the answer. I just received a package from Arduino with these two extension modules. I thought I'd take a quick look at them together with you, my viewers, and more importantly, I thought we try them out in the Arduino's PLC development environment as well. A quick disclaimer, Arduino has sent these to me. No money has been exchanged in any direction, and Arduino have not seen this video before publishing. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, here we got both of these modules. Both of these modules are connected to the PLC by this AUX extension port that you got here. And up to 5 of these modules can be connected together and extended to the PLC. And so that means that this extension port here on this extension module goes into the AUX port here on the PLC. So I probably have to remove this plastic tiny flap here and connect these together. The similarity between the two modules is that both provide an additional 16 inputs each, where each input is programmable to be used as either a digital 24-volt input or an analog 0 to 10 volt input. The difference is in the outputs. The D1608S here provides an additional 8 pieces of 24-volt DC solid-state relays, while the D1608E here provides an additional 8 pieces of 250-volt AC electromechanical relays. The price as of today for these modules is €122 for the D1608S and €114 for the D1608E. In the near future, Arduino will also release one additional analog extension module for adding additional analog input-output channels. I hope to look at this once it's released. So maybe let's try to hook these two guys up to the PLC. Let's hook all of these together and connect them to my computer and try to program them a little bit. Okay, I guess this guy here has to go off. I guess I'll just remove it. I don't know whether I should push it down or whether... No, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, looks good. Now let's hook the first module to the PLC. I don't think it matters which order they go in. I read that the PLC development environment is supposed to detect them in the right order, so it shouldn't matter which order I put them in. So I will just connect these together. See. Okay, that's it, snugly. Then we have to remove the AUX thing here, this tiny plastic flap on the extension module as well, like so. And let's hook the other module in there to the first extension module. Okay, so there we go. Let's see. Okay, easy peasy. 3 modules, two extension modules and the PLC. Let's hook this up to my development environment and try this out. Before we continue, a few words from our sponsor.
Hey, wanted to bring your attention to something really cool that Loop just put out. It is a digital twin showcase that features an example machine that's a 4-axis knife grinder. It was designed by our friends at Applied Motion Systems. And we use NVIDIA Omniverse, and we built an extension that talks to a Beckhoff CNC simulator that's running in real time. So if you've ever been curious about virtual production, how to use digital twins to do development and testing and validation, something I highly suggest you check out. We've open sourced all the components. If you want to know more, you can check us out at Shipping6.team or look for us on the NVIDIA extension browser in Omniverse. Hope to see you there.
Okay, we're back at the desk and I have wired up the Arduino Opta with the extensions. A very beautiful piece of work. I would probably get the Nobel Prize in electrical wiring if anyone saw this. but it's probably good enough. We got 24 volt, and more importantly, we can continue and testing the Arduino PLC IDE. I downloaded the latest version. As of today, it's version 1.06, straight off from the Arduino website. One thing I noticed immediately is that Arduino doesn't provide the addition anymore. You know, before you had to download 2 executables, the Arduino PLC IDE and some additional installer for communication drivers. I don't know, that's gone. It's just the IDE now, the PLC IDE. So I'm assuming Arduino have moved these 2 installers together, which is quite convenient. So we're gonna create a new project here. I'm gonna call it Arduino extension, Opta extension test. Okay, I selected Opta 1.1. Okay, we're gonna go online and see whether we can still connect to this. I have not used the Opta since the last video, so that's probably over a year ago. Hopefully everything is just gonna work. Connect, setup communication. Modbus, if I remember this correctly, I have to select a serial port here. That should be one of these. I can just pick one of them. Okay, and then we go online. Connect. Target device ID indicated for the project is different from the value read from target. Proceed anyway. I don't remember this message, to be honest. We got proceed anyway. Yeah, do I have a choice? Yes. Upload in progress. Okay, it's blinking, so something is happening. It says something here. Device ID settings mismatch. Current project Arduino Opta 1.1, target device 1.0. Okay, so probably something has changed in the software so that it's expecting the Opta to have a certain version of the firmware. So again, I haven't used the IDE since version basically 1.0. This is version 1.06 now. So I guess I have to update it. And how do I do that? Manual sketch download for first setup and reinitialization. So let's select that, download. Target must be disconnected. Okay, so I'll disconnect them and then download. Cannot download sketch file, error code 1. I'm already starting to regret that I did this download here. Failed uploading. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. So I'll disconnect and I'll reboot the PLC. So I'll disconnect it with the USB cable and connect it again and see whether we get any difference. I'll restart the development environment as well. Connect, set up communication, COM3, all looks good. Connect. Still had the same problem. Proceed anyway. Yeah, okay. Download. Cannot download sketch file, error code 1. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do with this information. So what I'm doing now is that I'm running this off a virtual machine. So I'm connected through a virtual machine because I didn't want to install this directly on the metal, so to speak. Maybe I should install the development environment directly on my computer. Okay, I'm running this directly on the metal now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've installed the PLC IDE, the latest one, on the computer. The first thing is the most important thing, and that is to select dark theme. There we go, much better. So let's do the same thing again. Arduino Opta extension test. Let's see whether we can go connect, set up communication, Modbus. Oof, one of them. COM1 maybe. I'm not supposed to connect actually. I'm supposed to... Yeah, now it looks a little bit different actually, because before it didn't, it just selected automatic bootloader here. I didn't have any of the COM ports here. So maybe there is something fishy with virtual machines. I was using VirtualBox. I had installed the additional USB extensions. But apparently that might, that might be the reason why it didn't work. So let's try this. Let's see this. Cannot download sketch file. Okay, so the same problem. Maybe I'll just select automatic here. Yep. No, that didn't work either. So let's just go through each and one of them. COM3, download. Now it looks a little bit different. Now it's doing some magical things that it didn't do before. And now it's blinking and doing all kinds of stuff on the PLC. So this feels better. Now it feels like it's completely rebooting it because all lights went out. Look. All lights are out on the PLC. Maybe it's gonna boot up soon. Maybe. Hello. Wake up. I don't want to. I'm sleeping. It doesn't wake up. So let's just wait a little bit longer maybe. Or just reapply power to it maybe. Let's wait a little bit. Okay, there's still no lights on the PLC, so I'll see whether I can just connect to it. COM3 maybe? Error. That sounds bad. So COM1. Nothing. COM4. Okay, now it says connected. That's good. Okay, okay. So we are connected, though there's no lights on it. Maybe I need to do something to get the lights up again. Maybe I need to manually set them. I don't remember I did it in the last videos. I think the lights were on by default. I know I could control the individual lights for the outputs, but I don't remember that I could do it for the reset and user lights. Anyway, let's see how far we'll get. So we are connected to the Opta. That means that we now, if we go to resources here, we'll see all the I/O of the device. And I guess here somewhere I should be able to now add the 2 extension modules. Let's see whether we can do that. We have I/O expansions down here. Add. Oh, we have a scan button. I should probably read the manuals, by the way. But, you know, nobody ain't got time for that. Configuration is not matching. Oh, yeah, but here we go. Look. These are actually the... Yeah, these are the 2 additional devices. The 1608S and the 1608E. And by the way, I don't know if you thought about it, but now when I connected, it didn't complain about different Opta versions, right? So I guess the update that I did with this button here, wherever it is, here, this button, the download, fixed it and updated the firmware. It even says here, Opta 1.1 now. Beautiful. So that worked. Okay. No lights yet, but it still seems to talk to it, so I guess at least it's not bricked, which of course I'm already afraid of. And then this video is going to be very short and very disappointing as well. Let's see. I/O expansion scan. And what I'm supposed to do now, I have these 2 things. Detected config, project config. Yes, obviously it has detected 2 slices or 2 extensions, but I don't have them here, so I have to add them somehow. Do I drag and drop them, or do I 16S here? Do I drag it over here, or... Ah, yeah. Ah, perfect. Look here. And now I drag the other one. Ah, in the right order even. 16.8S. The color here is not perfect for a dark theme. It's very hard to see this blue, by the way. So any feedback to Arduino, if anyone from Arduino is watching this video. But that seems to be correct now. So it actually detected them. Beautiful. I'll just do another scan and then they should be matching. Configuration is matching. Beautiful. Okay, so that was quite convenient to do. That worked quite well. I'm a little annoyed that the PLC's lights are completely off. I mean, let me show you here. Hopefully I'm not going to get the electrical shock, but see, the lights are nothing. I will just do a quick power cycle. Power cycle done. Still no lights. Target system 110 Arduino Opta. Okay, so that's good. So I guess I have to program the LED lights myself. These are... I remember that it was possible to program the lights somehow. LED 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just... I get annoyed that I don't have these lights on. So before I start to look at extensions, I want my lights back. So I'm gonna call this light 1. It was quite a while ago I used this, but I think this is how you did it. So you set light 4, and then you went to the project, our program. This is our code. We could have a boolean here. B lights on bool. And then we can connect this to the button. So if I press the button, the light should turn on, something like that. And I think we had programmable button inputs. Here we go. The user button. Yeah, let's just use that. That's the only button on the PLC that's integrated. So there is this tiny button that's integrated on the PLC here. So hopefully I can program that if that's pressed, then the lights should turn on. So my button. Save, and then we go back. I'm a little rusty on the... Oh, we can skip that. I'm a little rusty on this development environment. So if b... No, what did I call it again? Ugh. Button inputs, if my button, then and if. And I remember you had to add this semicolon at the end in the Arduino IDE, PLC IDE. LED outputs, and then we can just turn light 1 and until 4 to on. So light 1 true, light 2 true, light 3 true, and light 4 true. Else all of them off. I don't know which light is which, but that doesn't matter. I just want to see that I can program them so that I can use them. Even though I would expect at least one of them to be on by default. But, Life is weird. And how did you upload the software again? Download code. I think that's what you did. Sure, it's not compiled. Do you want to compile? Yes, please. One error. What's the problem? Isn't this how you declare bools? Do you need some var and var maybe? Oh, yeah, I'm really rusty with this development environment. Download code. Ah, here we go. Okay. I had to add the var keyword to declare it as a variable. I don't need this blights on variable, by the way. I'm not using it. Cold restart required. Yeah, sure. So target is rebooting. Oh, but now the light is blinking actually. Ah, so maybe the light is only on when the PLC is running or something like that. No lights, but okay. So let's see, so I don't get an electrical shock. I'll press the button. Ah, yeah. No, it's only the lights. It's only these two status lights. I don't know if you see it. I'm gonna remove my fat finger. It's these 4 lights. So I don't know why these 2 are not on. No idea what has happened. Maybe someone at Arduino can explain it. So I'm not gonna spend any more time on this. Now we're gonna start to look into extension modules. Okay, let's look at the extension modules. I thought for this video, I'm simply going to go to the relay outputs on both of them. So the solid state ones and the 250 volt ones as well. And simply set them to true, or one of them. For example, whenever I press a button, then I just switch between them. We write some very basic logic, trigger based or something, and we enable them just to see that we can communicate with that we indeed have communication with the extension modules. Okay, and these were the solid state relays, so let's call it solid state relay 1. And these were the electromechanical relays. So Arduino makes it very easy to assign variables. Save, and we'll do some logic to connect to enable this. I thought we should probably use something like a trigger, so for every button press, we'll trigger to turn on one of the relays. So let me think. I don't think I need to program all 8 outputs. It's maybe enough if I do 2 of each. So 2 of each of the outputs of the relays on every extension module. And I think we should use something like a button trigger. So be button trigger rtrig, which I assume is in the development environment. I mean, it's a basic function, so I should be able to compile it. So here, compile. Okay, no errors, so that should work. So I thought I could just make something that detects that the button is triggered, which is through this, no, not through this boolean, but through my button boolean. So let's execute that one. We have a CLK there, assign it to B lights on. No, not B lights on, sorry, my button. And then if the output signal from this guy, the raising edge output, I think it's called the rising edge output. Maybe it's some Italian version of rising edge. Then we wanna turn one of them on, or we want to invert it at least. Which one? Yeah, we can just make a very simple counter that goes from 1 to 4 and goes back, or something like that. And counter relay. Very basic, a small integer. And so that's, I assume, assigned 0 at the beginning. And we can check that if, we can start with 1, actually. If 1, if this is 1, then indentation here is horrible. I would wish that it automatically indentated the ifs and everything. You know, the same with the assignments. A little bit like with the codices IDE, right? That you press enter and it automatically indentates. Is that the correct English word? Yeah, you know, it jumps a little bit to the right. Now I have to do it manually. I mean, which I can do, of course. If it is 1, then we turn the first relay on or off, depending on the previous state, right? So we should be able to simply take solid state relay 1 and set it to what it was, what it's not, right? So we can do not what it was before. Else if, and then we do the same with the others. So else if and counter relay 2, then we do the same thing. And then, so we iterate through all of them. So we're gonna turn, if we press the button the first time, you know, then it's false, so it's gonna turn true. Next time we press the button, it's gonna be the second one that's gonna be false, then it's gonna be true. And then we continue so also for the 2 of the electromechanical relays, which we had here. So else if and counter relay equals 3, then not this. So invert it. And then else if it is 4, then we turn on or off the second electromechanical relay. Something like this. And of course we have to increment the counter whenever we've detected a button press. Except for the last one. Then we want that to go back to 1. Yeah. Maybe make this a little more pretty. A little more indentation. Here as well. Yeah, much nicer. Let's see if this compiles. It does. Okay, I'm a little curious. Let's run the application online or project I guess I cannot upload it while it is executing. Well, I'm not connected. That's the problem. Okay, connected and download code. Rebooting target. Beautiful. Okay, I guess it's running. So let's try it. No, only the lights. So maybe I'm making a mistake somewhere. Nothing. At least it doesn't click. I would expect it to make some sounds. And we also have these lights for the outputs. So the first 2 ones and the first 2 ones here should definitely be doing something, but nothing is happening. So I've probably made a mistake somewhere. Okay, so I've been investigating this a little bit. What I did is I added some of these variables to the watch. You know, so Arduino, the PLC ID has this neat function where you can right-click on any of these variables and click Add to Watch, and then they're gonna show the online values down here, which is very convenient. And I noticed that the counter relay was assigned to 0, and that was the problem. So when I press the button here now, it's 0, right? So I press the button and I hold it down. You see, as long as I hold down the button, it turns to true. So do. And because it's 0, it never gets into any of these ifs. And so for some reason, the initial assignment of 1 is not 1, it's 0, which I don't understand. If I switch here, if I switch to grid, in the init value is 1. So again, another thing as feedback for Arduino, init values don't seem to be working. is just set to 0, so we'll have to fix this. So the quick fix is, of course, to simply start counting from 0 instead, up to 3. And let's try that again instead. So online, download code. Projects, do you want to compile? Yes. Okay. It seems to be running. And let's try again then. Yeah, now it's working. Because, beautiful. Because the first light here on the solid state relay is on now. Let's do the other one. Other one is working. Third one. Yeah, and there we even heard a tiny click on the electromechanical ones. Yep, when I click on it, works quite well. So I can, now if I press it, the first one should turn off because it is, let's wait. I'm reaching my mouse here because this one is true, so I should do not true, invert it. So if I press on this button, it should go to false, which, no, we have a bug. We have a bug because I forgot to reset this one to 0, not to 1. So it turns off the second one. So few lines of code and still a bug, which is the reason why it's so important to have automatic tests for your code. So let's do download code and try it again. Let's set it to on. Why does solid state really turn on to 1 now? Now I'm very confused. I pressed 1 and now this one. Now counter relay is 2. So it started with 1. Wait. Okay, I'm very confused now. What did I do? So I'm just going to reboot the target. Let's just start from scratch. And now it starts at 1. So the initialization actually worked. Whatever happened when the variable was 0 in the beginning was maybe just a one time off. Because I rebooted it and it is 1 when it's rebooted, which is correct here. So this does work. The initialization, so this thing here actually works. I don't know what happened before. So we should change it back again. By the way, I just noticed it's extremely fast at rebooting. You know, it's not like a PC-based system that, you know, can take not hours, but for sure a few minutes to boot. This is just immediate. That's quite impressive. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna download the code. So 1, 2, 3, 4, start from 1. And then I'm gonna do a reboot targets from a fresh system. So, and we have the online view here, and we should be able to see the values. And it starts at 1 actually. Okay, so I take that back that it didn't initialize the variables correctly. And then we try again. So 1 works. We have the first solid state relay on, press again. We have the second solid state relay on, press again. We have the electromechanical relay, press again. It's all 4 of them are on. Now I'll try to press off. It's all, the first one is off, the second one is off, the third one, or the electrical mechanical one is off, and all are off. And we can go round and round. Beautiful. Yeah. So I'm not going to hook up any of the inputs. I just wanted to see that the communication was working to the extension modules or expansion modules or whatever they're called, and how easy it was to program them. And it's extremely easy, actually. I must give that to Arduino, that they've done a very good work with this, that it's extremely easy to just give these outputs a name and set them to true or false or whatever you want. And I expect the same thing to be the same to be with the inputs. What we can, however, see here is that you can actually configure them to be a digital or analog, every individual channel, by simply selecting the correct one here. So whether it should be a digital 24-volt signal, or whether it should be an analog one with 14-bit resolution, which I think went from 0 to 10 volt here. So get quite high resolution on the inputs, which is of course very nice. I think it's the same here. I think it's the same type of inputs on both of the extension modules. And it seems to be so. Digital or analog, 14 bits. Very convenient. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. So what do I think of this? I think it was... Well, I learned you should not be using a virtual machine for programming, that's for sure. At least not a virtual box. If any one of my viewers have managed to have this working beautifully with VirtualBox, please let me know. At least the initial configuration of the PLC was not possible to do with a virtual machine. And I have been using the additional USB drivers, the extension drivers, whatever they called for VirtualBox, with USB 3 and everything, and still it didn't work. So there's something. I run this directly on my Windows 11 machine. Other than that, the scanning of the devices seemed to work very fine. There was absolutely no problem. I assume that if you have an older version of the Opta, like I had, I have one of the very, very early versions of it. I think this was one of the first manufactured even, because Arduino sent it to me when they released Opta. I apparently had to update the firmware on it, which is not a big deal. I mean, if you get the serial communication to work on it, it's just updated and everything worked beautifully. The addition and scanning of the extension modules was very simple. I really have no complaints there whatsoever. So my feedback to this would basically be for Arduino, if they could release manual or anything of how you could run this on a virtual machine, preferably VirtualBox, because I know that a lot of automation engineers are using VirtualBox in their daily development work. They have 10 different versions of TIA Portal or 10 different versions of TwinCat, and all of them are going to be running different virtual machines even for different customer client machines that they're deploying to. That's kind of like a tradition in the automation industry nowadays. So what are your thoughts of the extension modules? If you have any thoughts, any ideas, or any suggestions, anything in your brain, please leave some comments below. If you like this video and want me to continue producing stuff like this, please leave a like. And if you really like these type of videos, please also subscribe to this channel. And if you really, really like this type of videos, then please consider becoming a Patreon. So until next time, happy coding!